if you want to support the show, any of the shows, either this or whichever show, I'm not on right now because this is just a blanket ad for all of them, and the website, you can go to bewareofspoilers.com. In the description for any of the episodes of Beware of Spoilers, there is the option to donate. If you don't want to donate that way, you can donate directly through the website. We do have that, mwpnews.com. And if you don't want to support that way, then going to mwpnews.com will help out because we have ads there. We don't want to keep it, where there's a lot of ads. There's a few ads. But the point is, we want to make it so that way, we can sustain this for the long term. If people donate, we're never going to paywall anything, I don't think, as of right now. But you know, if people start donating, we'll start doing cooler and cooler stuff. Like donations are how we get to cover stuff like Tribeca and other, film festivals. And, we may be able to bring on more people to help out. So if you want to help out the show and you want more content from us, by all means, uh, even just going and giving us a 5-star rating on Spotify helps out a lot. But that's it. That's the only ad we'll have on the podcast ever. But here's whatever podcast you're going to be listening to. Good morning and welcome to the Backlog Files. I am Adam. It is Tuesday the 21st, and we are getting ready for Memorial Day weekend. Today we're going to talk about a game that will not be talked about. This is not the last time we're going to talk about this game this year. I can tell you that right now, based on what we're doing um, in our, what's it called, in our year in review. Not year in review, in our big anniversary episode that Peter and possibly Josie and I are doing in August. Because this game is easily one of my favorite games of all time. So this game came out originally in Gen 3. There are some Gen 4 Pokemon in it as statues. I think Lucario has a statue. I think Bonsly has a statue. I think there were two others that you get for completing the Mojo. Not Mojo, the Dojo. Um, not Barbie. But these are, there are a few. And the game, of course, is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Red Rescue Team, and Blue Rescue Team. Red Rescue Team had come out for the Game Boy Advance. Blue Rescue Team came out for the Nintendo DS. This is I want to say a 2004 title. Maybe a little bit later. When I say that this game I played the fuck out of, because it was, it's not really, but for me, it was kind of my introduction to the roguelike, the dungeon crawler kind of game. Because, I was born in 94. At that point, mascot platforming had kind of taken off as a thing for younger audiences. Um, um, at that point, you had kind of the introduction of children's games, and there was also this licensed gaming boom around the same time, where it allowed for younger audiences to kind of get in franchises that they love. Like one of the first games I played besides Sonic 2 back on the Sega Genesis in 96, 97 there was a Barney the Dinosaur hide and seek game, which, you know, you can pick up anywhere now relatively cheap that sells used games, but there was this robust market. And then as the PS1 came around, which is my first, console that I really had a ton of time playing because the Genesis got destroyed um, in an accident. But when we got to the PS1 and we had discs for the first time, it's there were Winnie the Pooh games. There were every Disney franchise had a licensed game, and all of them played moderately well. So by this time, there wasn't quite as much there was more of introing children into games in a different way. And then on handhelds, I had Pokemon. But I had never been introduced to this idea of this is a dungeon that you have to get through a certain number of floors without dying. You play as a Pokemon, and each time you do, you're going to have a different layout of this dungeon. You will never get the same dungeon twice. It will always be different layout, different items, different encounters. There will be the same set Pokemon on each floor that can appear, but, you're not guaranteed to have them each time, and you're not guaranteed to have to fight the same ones over and over and over again. And this is a unique and novel concept, and this was something that, and the amount of post game content here was kind of the thing that's an unrealistic expectation for, I would say, not just me, but a lot of people going forward. Like the idea that this game is going to have, you're gonna beat the main story. There are a ton of dungeons in the main story, and there's a bunch of challenges you can do after. Like that kind of thing really appealed to me at that age, and then it became something that I played so much of over the years, and continued to. And then when it was on the virtual console for the Wii U, I continued to play it. So what you have with this game is the general concept is you were a human. You were a human that lived in the normal Pokemon world. You wake up one day and you are now a Pokemon. You do a personality test and you get to you can fudge the answers, get the Pokemon you want, but you are one of the starters from the previous 3 generations, or Pikachu or Meowth, and I think there was like one or two more. But either way, that's where you are. And you find, you're found by this guy, this other Pokemon who's your partner, and you guys then start a rescue team because there's a series of calamities undergoing the world, and you guys have to save the Pokemon that keep getting lost in these dungeons that have, been opening up. And that's the entire conceit of the game. And as you go through, you have to navigate these various dungeons, go on different missions. There's a story aspect where it's like, oh wait, there's more to this. Um, in this story that you need to learn who you were and why you became a Pokemon, like that kind of thing. You know, and how could you see the story is not the most engaging. What's engaging about this is the gameplay and how it takes what you know about Pokemon and kind of flips it on its head. Yes, you can evolve, but you can't evolve your starter until after you beat the main game. Yes, you can evolve your Pokemon as you go, but they can't evolve. When they evolve, they don't get any noticeable stat boosts. Like, if you want a real challenge, there's an island that you can go to in the post game where you can go and find out, and you get put back to level 0 or level 1. You lose all your items, and then you just go in and you have to survive. Um, every Pokemon is in this game in some capacity. It's there's so much to do here, and it's one of those things where it's hard, but it's a satisfying hard. Like, I joke that the closest I get to a Souls like is what's it called? The closest I'll get to a Souls game is Kingdom Hearts 2 on Critical, trying to beat the data replicas. But I think there's a case to be made that probably playing this game is also one of those things where it's that same, like, look, I know it's not the same thing. I know it's not as hard as Dark Souls or Elden Ring. I've played Elden Ring. I can tell you it's not as hard as Elden Ring. But it is one of those things where it's that same kind of general reason why people find playing that game so fun. It's not about getting through and just throttling your enemies and seeing them driven before you and hearing the lamentations of their women. It is being given a game that is difficult enough where as you learn how to play it, you get a satisfaction out of learning how to play the game and then eventually overcoming the obstacles that the game is throwing at you. This is a worthwhile experience for anyone who is looking to kind of get into the dungeon crawler and still have a high skill ceiling, where there is a lot of room for you to grow as a player as you're going through this experience. Um, and the thing is, too, it's like, look, if you don't want to play the DS version, the Game Boy Advance version plays just as well, um, which is kind of fun. But this is definitely one of my favorite games of all time, which brings us to our rankings. Um, this is going to take the new number 1. We're just going to get that out of the way. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue, Red, which makes our new rankings as follows. Let's start down at the bottom at number 19. We have Hey You Pikachu. Number 19, we have the original Pokemon Pinball. Number 17, we have Pokemon Channel. Number 16, we have Pokemon Puzzle Challenge and Pokemon Puzzle League. Number 15, we have the trading card game. Number 14, we have Red and Blue version. Number 13, we have Stadium. Number 12, we have Stadium 2. Number 11, we have Snap. Number 10, we have yellow version. Number 9, we have gold and silver version. Number 6, we have crystal version. Number 7, I'm sorry, wow, what the fuck am I doing? Number 9, gold and silver. Number 8, crystal. Number 7, pinball ruby and sapphire. Number 6, fire red and leaf green. Number 5, Colosseum. Number 4 XD Gale of Darkness. Number 3, ruby and sapphire. Number 2, emerald. Number 1, mystery dungeon. Red rescue team and blue rescue team. This brings us to the all-important question, what's the next game we're going to talk about? On this feed in general, we're going to be talking about Retro Wave World come later this week, but our next episode will be Pokemon Ranger, another game that came out of the golden age, as I would call it, of Pokemon spin-offs. But until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.